So, Matthew, what's your favorite roller coaster?
Oh, man. That's like asking what's my favorite kid. Giant Dipper's got to be on there, right? Santa Cruz, we grew up there.
Right.
Probably rode that one more than anything I've ridden in my life. So, yeah, Giant Dipper's on there. But then there's Space Mountain at Disneyland.
Yeah, that's also a good one.
The darkness and you're zipping around and then the smell of grease. It just has this distinctive smell that kind of...
The Space Mountain has a distinct smell? The roller coasters, they smell different.
They do. This is what I'm saying. At least Space Mountain does because it's inside.
That's fair. I could see that. Yeah.
Back in the early 90s, I went to Cedar Point in Ohio.
You've been to Ohio?
And I rode the Magnum XL 200, which the drop off of that when you go straight down is the worst feeling ever.
I like that one because it's called Magnum XL.
There's also one there called this Corkscrew. I learned very quickly that just wasn't for me. As I've gotten older, I can't do the upside down ones. Like California Screamin', which is now the Incredicoaster at California Adventure. Can't do the loopy thing. It leaves me too woozy.
I do like that one because it just starts off super fast. You're just like, zoom. Let me ask you this, though, Matthew. Do you like it when your roller coaster breaks down in the rain as you're going up the hill and you're stuck there for 3 days while nothing happens? And then you're very dehydrated and you feel like you're starving to death even though you have another 4 days. They come and they get you down and all you get is a 50% off coupon for your next visit. Do you like that roller coaster, Matthew?
No, that doesn't sound fun at all.
No, it's not very fun at all. Do you know what it's called?
No, what?
It's called the Philadelphia Slog. Bob, hit it!
Welcome to Giant Cocktails, where the humor is elite, but the baseball sucks. Oh yeah, here are your hosts, Ben and Matthew Henry.
Welcome to episode 362 of Giant Cocktails. Matthew, we've done a full circle plus 2 degrees.
Yes, and it all seems familiar, doesn't it?
It does. I wish I had thought of that 2 episodes ago, man. Would have been so clever. I like all that buildup I made for the past few weeks about how are we ever going to hear the Are the Giants Good intro from Bob again. And now it looks like we're never going to hear it again at all. That was the one time. That was it.
That was it.
Matthew finally got unstingy. I'm sorry, Bob. Bob got unstingy. And then that was it. Look what we did.
I'm really worried about homeostasis at this point, Ben.
Yeah. Well, here's the good news. Bob, what's the definition of homeostasis?
Homeostasis, when the Giants are 2 games worse than you think they are.
See, Matthew? It self-adjusts.
Bob's definition is quite useful for times like these, for sure. But the official definition is 2 games under 500. I just want
That
to be
is
clear.
the official definition, yes. But Bob doesn't worry about officialness.
No.
Especially when you're the person who defined it. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Bob's nodding and grinning over there. Anyway, Matthew, Barry Bonds hit 362 in 2004, winning his 4th consecutive and final NL MVP award. In that year, he led the majors in batting, on base percentage, and slugging percentage when he slashed 362, 609, and 812. I guess Barry's coming back for episode 609 and 812.
Count on it.
He also hit 45 home runs that year. It was the last time a Giant hit 30 before Willie Adames did it last year. And he had an eye-popping, never-to-be-beaten, Major League leading 120. Let me say that again. 120 walks. No, that's not right. 120 intentional walks.
That is just crazy.
He had 232 walks total. That is crazy. It's insane. You know who was in second place with 68, Matthew?
No, who?
Barry Bonds. He also has the record for third, which I believe was 61. It's starting to get a little hazy. And then a Giant holds spot number 4, and his name is not Barry Bonds. His name is Willie McCovey, and I believe he had 45.
I just want to go back to that on-base percentage of 609.
609.
That on-base percentage is higher than the current slugging percentage of both Willie Adames and Rafael Devers.
Combined.
Not quite, but it feels that way for sure.
It feels that way. Yeah, it feels that way. Yeah. I think Barry's, pinky finger is bigger than Willie Adames. Never mind. I'm not going to go to that. I
want to propose in the off season, Ben, or maybe like September. We just do a whole episode about Barry Bonds and
right.
Just all the stuff that you could pull out.
All the stuff. I have a feeling that we might be digging for material. If we need to have a positive episode, that might be something we need to do. That might be something to do.
This is why I'm saying September. That could be a thing. Yeah.
By the way, folks, this is foreshadowing for the rest of the episode. Matthew is very worried about how this episode is going to go because he can tell that I have no humor within me whatsoever. And I am stone cold sober right now.
Enough with the banter. Let's talk cocktails.
See, even Bob wants to get to it. You can hear the fury in his voice. Yes, Bob, hit me.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Well, thank you for asking, Bob. That's very kind of you. Today, I'm drinking a cocktail that I am calling the Parking Consulate. Why is it called that? Well, there's a bunch of stuff that I just cut out that would explain its name. But now you'll never know. And that's what I'm drinking today, Bob.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, spring is apparently in the air. I decided to do a cocktail that represents spring in my mind. And it's a Basil Gimlet. Tell you all about it at the end of the episode.
Spring has sprung.
It has sprung.
We're in the midst of spring.
We are.
It's old spring now. The training is over and we are into full-blown baseball. We played 27 games, a full month, because everybody knows a month is 27 days long. Anyway, today is Thursday, April 30th, as we record this podcast. Our San Francisco Giants flew to Philadelphia, where it was raining all week. They lost a baseball game. They took a day off. They played a very good baseball game. I mean, the offense took the day off. Ryan Walker took the day off. And they lost another baseball game. They played another baseball game in the middle of rain. Kind of was just a frustrating game where you just could never break through. And then finally they tied the game. Anyway, the point is they got swept. Matthew, they got swept. The Phillies beat the Giants 3-0.
Yeah, I think I texted you at the beginning and I said, is it a good sign or a bad sign if their manager gets fired right as you're coming in? And you said it was a good sign.
I think that means that, a team cannot be any...
What was that?
That was me opening my bubbles for my cocktail, because you need to top it with club soda. And I'm topping it off right now because I'm tired of being sober. Feisty bottle. Because that's where they're at their low, right? I mean, some teams just do get worse from there. Many do. And that was my point. My point was, they fired their manager. Things are really bad there. They're one of the worst teams in the National League. This is the perfect time to roll in there and beat up on them. Instead, they got beat up. And now they are last place in the NL West. Yes, they are half a game behind the Colorado Rockies. Bob?
At least we're not the Rockies.
Yeah, no, you can't say that anymore, dude. That's what the Rockies fans are saying. The Rockies fans over there on the Rocks. That's their cocktail podcast. It's called On the Rocks.
That's an excellent name for a podcast.
Yeah. It's over there at On the Rocks. They're getting her name is Anne to say, at least we're not the Giants. Yeah, well, it gets better, Matthew, because not only are the Rockies better than us, we are now tied for second worst in the National League after getting swept by the team that they are now tied with. The Phillies were 3 games worse than the Giants, and now they're tied for the second worst record in the National League. Both of them only ahead of the lowly Mets. So what are we going to be talking about today, then?
Cocktails, roller coasters.
Mm-hmm. An unbridled fury.
Oh, no.
The knives are coming out. The gloves are coming off, which I know is a bad idea because when your hands get bloody, they slip on the blade, and that's how you cut yourself. Oh, wait, what? So we're going to talk about the Phillies series. Yes. And then, for no reason whatsoever, we're just going to have a random conversation about who Tony Vitello should be choosing as the closer.
Wait a minute. I thought it was Ryan Walker.
You know, it's just conjecture. Because Ryan Walker is the closer, right? I mean, Matthew, the last guy to try to get a save who wasn't Ryan Walker, failed. So we're going to talk about the closer situation. But before we do that, we have some tidbits. Okay, look. Oh, Bob, did you put this in here? Okay, apparently I made a mistake on last episode. For once. I make mistakes every episode, Bob.
Yeah, and in your defense, you tried doing a podcast when you're drunk, right?
Exactly. And I said this towards the very end of the episode. I remember saying this. I blamed Mekache for our bad offense. And
when really it should have been Hunter Pence. I mean Mentz.
Yes, exactly. It should have been Hunter Mentz, not Massage. Because Massage is the pitching coach, not the hitting coach. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Bob. I think everybody understood what I meant. They listened to the show not for our accuracy. Let's see what else. Oh, changes. Oh, there were changes to the roster, Matthew. Tell us all about them. I'm so excited.
Welcome back, Gregory Santos. The Giants optioned Blade Tidwell because they needed a fresh arm. Did you know that they're playing 8 games in 7 days? So they needed some fresh arms. And so they brought up Gregory Santos after Blade Tidwell had pitched a couple of days, a lot of innings. And so welcome back. You know, last time Gregory Santos pitched for the Giants was in 2022.
Mm-hmm. He got called up with Camilo. They were both the young guns in the bullpen in 2021. Santos got sent back down, and Camilo became the closer.
And if in case you're wondering, how many games Santos has pitched as a Giant, it's 5. 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, they brought them both up, and one of them was good, and one of them was not, and that was it. Yes. Also, do we care about Trevor getting called up for the game?
Well, only, and we could talk about this later.
Legitimately named Trevor, right?
Yes. Trevor McDonald, E-I-E-I-O.
Okay, first of all, is every baseball player just either named Trevor or Tyler? Is that what's happening? Is that why I keep confusing Mally?
This is why my son is not a Major League Baseball player, because I neglected to name him Trevor or Tyler.
Or Tyler. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. And then last but not least, we're gonna there's some old friends.
Well, I only
That's
want
what we call remembering some guys on our because otherwise we would just be
a couple things that have been going around the social medias. One was that Kyle Harrison has actually been doing very well for Milwaukee, and now some people are saying the Giants are looking foolish for the Devers trade. And folks, hindsight is always, 2020. And I don't think you can look at this now and be like, oh, the Giants lost this trade. Rafa, I think if we had to do it over again, knowing what you knew then, you would make that trade every time.
Yeah, like if we saw how Rafael Devers played last year and then you said, and here's his stats for the first month of 2026, really? You would compare his stats from last year and then compare them to the first 25 or 30 games of 2026 and be like, oh, I don't want Devers. I want Kyle Harrison. No, you wouldn't. Yeah, gotcha.
Speaking of MVP candidates, though, Tyler Fitzgerald, Ben, got picked up or traded by the Dodgers.
Yeah, you know why they did this, right?
No, why?
Because they want to pump him for information. They want to know everything they possibly can about the Giants. They're going to use him to steal signs. They're basically going to hook him up to some poor machine. They're going to suck the essence out of him. They're going to put a thing on his brain. And he's going to shrivel up and be all desiccated. And then people are going to be like, whatever happened to Tyler Fitzgerald? And nobody will ever know because he's hidden in a freezer in Chavez Ravine. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're doing. This has nothing to do about his playing abilities. This is what those evil corpos do. They don't care.
Well, I hope that's the case because Tyler Fitzgerald becomes the next coming of, I don't know, the next Trey Turner, then we're in trouble.
I don't think what? No, that's not happening. That's not happening. He's barely going to, you're never going to even see him play that many games. Just you watch. Okay. But suddenly they'll know a lot more about the Giants. All right, Matthew, we have to do it. Enough stalling on your part.
Okay.
We have to do it.
Okay, tell me. What do we got to do?
We have to talk about the Philly series.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, we could just talk about our day. Talk about your cat that you don't want to adopt.
I don't want to adopt him.
Hashtag do it for Guy.
Do it for Guy. God damn it. Yeah, by the way, I just on that note, since we're not going to talk about the Phillies series, about the cat, I don't think I made it clear why that meant I was just making an old-fashioned. I have to feed the little bugger every 4 hours around the clock. I have to bathe him once or twice a day to get the fleas off. And now that he's healthy, all he wants to do is run around at breakneck speed, even though he really can't walk. I mean, he looks like me after an episode. And so I couldn't take the time to think of a recipe and then make something that was complicated. That's why I was drinking The Stupid Cat Has No Name last week. Okay. All right.
We got that out of the way? Okay.
We really have to talk about the Phillies series. I wrote a script.
I see that. And I do think that we do need to talk about the new manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. Because that's nepotism at its finest, man.
Yeah, well, see, that's how I think this went down, right? Okay. The Giants, by the way, folks, they just got swept by a team that fired their manager, as we noted. That team, after they fired their manager, hired the GM's dad to be the manager. So here's how I envision it going. The hobo. Is it Dombrowski? Who's running the Phillies these days?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah. And he was with the Red Sox, right? Yeah. Okay. Alex Cora gets canned on Saturday by the Red Sox in whatever city they were in, but it wasn't Boston. They literally fired him and all of his coaches, and then they chartered a little bus to take them to the airport to fly them all home because they were no longer Red Sox employees. The name of the charter company, Matthew, was called Coaches for Hire.
You can't make that stuff up, can you?
No, I think they did that on purpose, for sure. As they were looking through, they were like, hey, here's one called Coaches for Hire. So Dombrowski's like, oh, dude, my boy. We won a World Series together in Boston. He's available. And then he gets off the phone and he's all like,
shirt balls.
Cora said no. I thought for sure he'd take the job one day after being fired by the Red Sox. I thought we were bros. And then his little sidekick says, my dad could do it. And that's how they hired Mattingly as their manager. Those guys just swept the Giants, Matthew.
Yeah.
Some kid's dad running the team just swept the Giants.
Well, yeah, and going into the series, guys like Schwarber were struggling.
Yeah.
And I'm reluctant to admit that the best way out of a slump is to face the Giants. But it certainly seems that way.
I mean, what about the Rockies? What about the White Sox? Like, what about the Mets?
No. So there are two paths to beating the Giants. One, throw a left-hander on the mound. Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
Left-hander on the mound. And we saw a lot of lefties this week.
That's true.
The other way is just like have a struggling superstar, like just be wanting, to get healthy. And then all of a sudden Giants pitching is just there. Particularly when you got a guy like Hauser D's Nuts and Tyler Malley.
And our third worst pitcher, Logan Webb. I mean, they had us right where we wanted them. Or we had them right where they wanted us.
Or they had us right where they wanted them? I don't know.
They had our three worst pitchers were going, Matthew. Our three worst pitchers were going. And I remember, like I said in the last episode, oh, that'll be fun. It'll be interesting. We'll see Tyler Malley coming off of his last start to see if it's legit. We'll see Hauser try to right the ship, and we'll see if Webb can get back on track.
Because they are the ones playing, and particularly the offense, who is reluctantly like showing up every day, apparently.
Yes, I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to steal my line.
Because
you think you're going to temper it.
I think that you're going to disagree with me.
Oh,
I'm teeing you up, Ben.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you. Well, I disagree, Matthew. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do agree. Like, they got to hit better. Like, no doubt. And that was definitely one of my takeaways. Like, the Giants offense just disappeared again for 2 out of 3 games in the series, as they seemed to want to do. And another one of my takeaways was the bullpen finally blinks, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say it was awful. It was really bad at critical moments, right? It was really bad at critical moments. But here's what I think. This is my biggest takeaway. This coaching staff, manager Tony Vitello, and everybody down below him, they need to grow the
fire truck
up right now. Like, right now. This is not something that we've talked a lot about because we want to give them their space. We want to let themselves work their way in, inexperienced manager, guys not working together, a lot of them coming from the college ranks, a lot of them coming from minor leagues. Everybody on this on the staff is promoted except for Chase Tinkler. Oh, and Ron Washington. But everybody else is working at the highest job that they've ever had. And unfortunately, they've all perhaps risen to their level of incompetence because they have made a tremendous amount of mistakes. And in my opinion, the reason the Giants got swept in this series is because of Tony Vitello and his staff.
Okay. I do think this was the series where we started to see the inexperience of the staff. On the TV side, I remember hearing them talking about the lack of mound visits when pitchers are struggling and how the Giants don't seem to utilize their mound visits. These are all little examples of inexperience, right? But I also feel like maybe they need an adult in the room, Ben. Like, I mean, they've got all this experience around Tony Vitello. Maybe, we just need to utilize it, like Bruce Bochy, Dusty Baker, Ron Washington, Jace Tingler, all of these guys have experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's what they need, Matthew. Yeah, that's what they need. Yeah. That's
fire truck.
What they need. The Mount Rushmore of managers to come down and impart their wisdom. Bochy, Baker, Washington, and Tingler? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? What? That's part of the problem. That guy's been sitting in the...
Calm down, Ben.
Shut up, Bob. This is what you wanted. You literally said before the show, let him have it. That's what you said. Oh, don't smirk at me like that. That's the guy in second in command. Like, he should be in Vitello's ear. Like, these mistakes shouldn't be happening. Like, Malley should not be allowed to implode in an inning like that. And this happens time and time again. They just let these guys get into trouble and they just leave them there. And is it like, okay, is this the strategy or are you just deer in the headlights?
Well, the part that wants to give them a little bit of credit is that, they've got this 9-game stretch with no rest in between. They probably want their starters to go as long as they can to kind of,
but it's like this every game. It's not just now.
No,
it's
you're right.
Game.
You're right. It is like this every game. And I feel like we're at the point of the season where you got to win the game today.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Like, you cannot worry about tomorrow anymore. Like, you have to win today. Especially, like, in the doubles headers today. Like, okay, like, I want to leave that stuff to the end because that's really what our second unit is about. So I want to leave that stuff to the end. But there is another issue that I have seen come up time and time again. And this is going to be the thing. I'm sure if we were to go out on social media, this guy is being eviscerated out there right now. But I have noticed a number of mistakes being made by one Hector Borg, and we said nothing on this show. And then he made another mistake that I saw that I think I mentioned casually in the middle of some other rant. I don't know what I was ranting about. But it was one of my rants. And I was going off and I was like, oh, by the way, Borg did something stupid. Borg, there's no excuse for the mistake that he made in the second game of the doubleheader on Thursday.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for
that.
Like, I mean, it was like, like on TV, or I don't know, I was listening to either the radio or the TV broadcast, and they were like, maybe he thought he got it in his glove. And I'm like, I don't know how you thought that. You thought that because you weren't watching the ball, which is literally your job. That is your primary job, Hector, is to watch the ball. And, like, for you to have not done so, after you were already on shaky ground, and I will remind everybody, it's not like Hector Borg has had a lot of opportunities to wave guys home.
That's true.
Right? He has made a high number of questionable decisions out there, and we cannot afford any longer to wait for these guys to figure it out. Like,
well, but I do want to say that yes, Hector Borg should have sent Gilbert in that inning, but Gilbert's still on third base with 0 outs. I looked it up. It's between 80 and 90% when you got a runner on third with 0 outs that runner scores.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's because Hunter Mentz has ruined this offense. Maybe Hunter Mentz is the reason why Rafi Devers can't hit baseballs anymore. Like, we don't know. Like, this is an offense that should be producing well. But he comes here with this, like, let's make contact and swing at crap BS. And suddenly they're swinging, like, their walk rates are down. They're hitting a bunch of garbage. They're hitting ground balls. Like, how's that working out? Like, my point is that, like, we really, really have to point the finger at these guys making these decisions, because it is starting to turn into a pattern. This isn't just early bumps in the road. And, like, you can't just wait for them to turn it around, because at that point you'll have pissed the season away. Like, this staff needs to get better from top to bottom. Like, Borg, like, honestly, I at this point, I think he should not be the third base coach anymore. Because, again, this wasn't his first mistake. I think we at the very least, or I at the very least, have not really spent a lot of time taking these guys to task, because they are all new, and I wanted to give them opportunities. But, like, this is unacceptable. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, that mistake is unacceptable, but it's not just his only mistake. That's the point that I'm making. And yes, the Giants should have picked him up, but that doesn't mean his mistake wasn't a boneheaded, unacceptable, inexcusable mistake. Don't do that.
Well, and I think that the point is that the players are struggling so much that we can't have the coaches contributing to the problem. And it seemed like this series, there were numerous examples of that.
I agree. One example of that, Matthew, was the improper usage of one Caleb Killian.
Is this your way of segueing into like who the closer should be, Ben?
Yes, because Caleb did pitch in 2 innings on Thursday.
Yes, he did.
Which I'll remind you, he could have done that if he just pitched in 2 different innings. The Giants would have won those 2 games. Right? That is one decision. One decision that this coaching staff could have made. If Caleb Killian pitches the 9th inning in the opener and the nightcap, the Giants win both of those games.
Yeah, you're not going to have the guy pitch in both games, though. So, but at least one of them.
But you're going to have him pitch 2 innings? Like, what? Why? Why have him pitch 2 innings if you're not going to have him pitch 2 innings?
I don't know. I've just been told that all these years that you just don't do that.
Well, that might be the reason why Caleb Killian is because you just don't do that. So let's ask the question, Matthew. You wrote here, who should be the closer? I think this should be, why isn't Caleb Killian the closer?
Well, it's funny that I was actually writing this prompt right around the time that the Giants were going into the 9th of the second game leading, and Keaton Wynn was on the mound.
Okay, can I just do an aside here?
Yes.
It's a title, it's a topic. It's not a prompt, dude. I think you might have a problem. I think you might have a serious problem. You said prompt, man. Like, you might have a serious problem. We need to talk about this. Maybe we should take this offline after the show. I just want to talk about you and your relationship to ChatGPT.
All right. Okay. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, okay. All right, continue.
The thing that I was trying to look at, like, who should be the closer. And I was looking at Ryan Walker, Keaton Wynn, Eric Miller, and of course, Caleb Killian.
Yeah.
And out of all those 4, the stats clearly point out that Ryan Walker is the least, should be the least considered to be the closer.
Yeah, but Matthew, you know that's the last thing that a manager looks at when deciding who his closer should be.
I don't understand why, though. You've got all this data. That it clearly explains that Ryan Walker is not the guy.
Yep.
And I mean, you look into his StatCast numbers, and hitters aren't chasing. They're making contact. Mm-hmm. He's got the highest percentage of, and I love this name for a stat, meatball pitches.
Wait, I like meatballs.
A meatball is a pitch that's right down the middle.
Oh.
10% of Ryan Walker's pitches are right down the middle. Is
that bad? That's bad.
That's bad.
Okay.
The only thing that Walker has going for him is that his exit velocity of hits is like one of the best in the league. So people aren't making a lot of contact, but when they do, he's walking too many players. He's putting players. It's just a bad thing. And Keaton Wynn, on the other hand, today notwithstanding, is
why
elite.
Do you say today notwithstanding?
Well, yeah, he struggled. I mean, he walked the first guy. That was the worst thing that you could do as a closer, right?
Listen, you can't pull a Camilo unless you can throw 102 miles an hour.
Exactly.
And have a nasty, nasty slider.
The funny thing is that in that 9th inning, as Keaton Wynn was on the mound, I was trying to make the case for Keaton Wynn being the closer. But then he walks the first batter, and then that guy eventually scores, right? And so, but I still feel like a guy like Keaton Wynn, with the numbers that he's had this year, should be ahead of someone like Ryan Walker. And I get it. It's funny how like the reason for not allowing these guys to pitch, according to kind of the media, is that they haven't done it before.
Yep.
Neglecting the thought that at some point you gotta do it to have done it before.
Yeah, I mean, look, my joke to you is that this is tradition, right? Managers don't want closers who haven't closed before. Organizations don't want closers who haven't closed before. But that's actually not true. There's actually two different kinds of organizations. And I do think this is organizational level. I think this is almost cultural for each organization. You have teams like the Athletics, the Vagabonds, who don't care about this at all. And this comes out of Billy Bean's school. Like Billy Bean was always like, you always have a closer.
You just
have to find.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
And he could be anybody, and look at how many guys with the Athletics were nobodies and then became great closers, right? Then you have on the other side teams that are like, I cannot have a guy who hasn't saved games before, right? Does the name Mark Melanson mean anything to you?
Yes, because he liked one of my Instagram photos once.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Also, he was an experienced closer. This is a disease that the Giants have had forever. Forever. They believe that your closer has to have saved a game before he can be a closer. It doesn't. I agree with you, Matthew. It doesn't make any sense, because otherwise, how do you get new closers? Well, you get them from teams like the A's, right, or the Rays, or the Indians. The Guardians. Like, you get them from those teams. They make the closers. You overpay for them. Now, that's not what happened to Walker, but Walker was like, Camilo lost his job and somebody had to do it. And then, boom, he established himself as the closer, and now he's the guy. He has the pedigree, and that's the number one reason he's the closer, because he was the closer. That's it. That's the reason. And then I agree with you. Keaton Wynn probably is the next in line after that, and that's why we saw him closing Game 2 today. Why? Because he's been established. He's started games for the Giants. He's been around the block. He's had some success. Miller is probably third. Why? Because he's established himself as the new setup guy, a role that he got into because he got Shohei Ohtani out a couple of times. Right? You have to build up the pedigree. Matthew, it's absolutely insane and crazy for you to think that you should put your best reliever in the closer role. That's ridiculous. Because that's what Caleb Killian is. So therefore, the last thing he should be is the closer.
I want to disagree with you, because I really do love Keaton Wynn, and his numbers are pretty darn good. But the only player whose numbers are better is Caleb Killian. Caleb Killian is a 0.7 ERA, a whip of 0.92, a 105 average against. He's given up 4 hits and 14 strikeouts in 10 and 2/3 innings. The only knock on the guy is he's walked more batters than you'd want in that stretch. But so has everyone else. I feel like, why aren't we given either? I mean, I'm glad we got to see Keaton Wynn, even though he didn't convert the save in that situation. I would love to see Caleb Killian get that chance as well.
Well, Matthew, I was being facetious here. I'm just going to say what I wrote here in the notes.
Okay.
I sense a drunken rant coming on. Fire truck. I sense a drunken rant coming on.
Hold my beer, Bob. For
fire truck.
Fuck's sake, it should be Caleb Killian, and the only reason it isn't Caleb Killian is
fire truck.
Fucking pedigree, which is ironic, giving who the
Fire truck.
fucking manager is.
Maybe that's where Jace Tingler is having a little bit of say. I don't know.
Yeah, and that would explain why he's
Fire truck.
fucking it up. Like, this, maybe you're right. Maybe this is Tingler making Wynn be the
Fire truck.
fucking closer. Caleb Killian should be the
Fire truck.
fucking closer.
Calm down, Ben.
I haven't even gotten started yet, Bob. He is the best guy, and I get it. Like, he had 3, really ho-hum years with the Cubs after the Giants traded him for Chris Bryant. But he has done a lot to get better, and he is by far and away the best reliever in this bullpen. And I really do believe that he is 4th in line for this role. Because of
Fire truck.
fucking pedigree. That's it. That's the only reason he's not the closer is because some
Fire truck.
fucking idiot decided he shouldn't have the job. It was probably Hector Borg. Just, put your best guys in the spots.
Have another drink, Ben.
Okay, yes. Breathe, hydrate.
You all right? You all right there?
Yeah. I mean, you keep putting your best hitter in the 3 spot. Why can't you put your best reliever in the closer role? It's inexplicable. It's inexplicable. Caleb Killian should be the closer because he's the best guy in the bullpen. Any other reason makes no sense.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, maybe. I think my biggest argument is that Ryan Walker should not be the closer.
Yeah. And yet, for some reason, he is. And I think part of that is pedigree, and part of that is because they told him he was.
No, I think he told them he was.
Whatever. I don't care. Somebody told somebody, and everybody else is just sitting around, nodding their heads.
I picture him walking into spring training and being like, "Hey, I know you're new here, but I'm the closer." I just feel like that's
what I picture? I picture all of the coaches all nodding their heads, but there in the back is Ron Washington shaking it. Just like he did in Moneyball. No, it's very difficult. He's thinking to himself, no, Caleb Killian should be the closer.
I think Ron is just too invested in Luis Ariz to pay attention to anything else.
Hey, you know what, Ron shouldn't rock the boat. He's doing great. He's got our best defender. He's our best player at this point.
Yes.
Honestly.
I think the Giants would have been no hit at this point if it wasn't for Luis Ariz.
I think you're right. No, that's definitely true because there was one game where he had the only hit. So yes, that is true. Literally true. But also kind of just feels figuratively true.
Yes, it does.
Look, the point is, folks, the gloves are off. We cannot. This performance that we saw in Philadelphia was inexcusable. And yes, the offense is bad, but maybe that's on Mentz and his staff. I would like to see Malley be more consistently good. I'd like to see our offense be as good as it could be. But we need the coaching staff to be significantly better. And I think it's time for everybody to start talking about it. And I think the Hector Borg situation will probably be a catalyst for that. But the gloves have to come off. This is the San Francisco Giants. This is not the Tennessee Volunteers. You need to be better. All right, Matthew. Despite all our hardships, the games just keep coming. We're about to go play a minor league team in a minor league park, and yet somehow it's full of people really good at putting together teams when they literally have no money at all. The Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah. We're going against a team that's 18-12.
Yeah, like I said, they just keep doing it. They just keep doing it. Like can't build a ballpark, right? Can't find a city to play in. Can't get fans to show up, right? They're bad at architecture. They're bad at urban planning. They're bad at marketing. But boy, can those guys find and improve young baseball players.
Yeah.
18-12. Just your typical Tampa Bay Rays team. The Giants played them last year and went 1-2. So, yeah. Probable starters according to Fangraphs. Let's see. Carson Wisenhunt is going to pitch. Might as well put your name down, Matthew.
I'm going to go with Trevor McDonald. I think they find a way to keep him up.
Yeah.
For Monday, maybe. Like, I don't think it would be Saturday or Friday.
Fangraphs is weird. It's just a bunch of guys there that just, like, they're all pretending.
I mean, they're not wrong in that we need another starter because, Webb getting rained out on Wednesday and having to pitch on Thursday means that he can't pitch on Monday when he would normally pitch. Mm-hmm. So we are going to need another starter. The Phillies solved that problem by doing a bullpen game today. But apparently now we are so traumatized by the Gabe Kapler era that we couldn't possibly do that.
I mean, maybe Tony Vitello doesn't know what that is. And maybe Jace Tingler just didn't think to tell him. And Ron was going to tell him, but nobody listens to Ron except Luis Ariz.
I also think the Buster just kind of puts players on the roster, right? So Buster's got to know and could be like, hey, I'm giving you another starter here. So I'm thinking it's Trevor McDonald. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. So whoever that is going to be facing Shane McClanahan. Robbie
Ray versus McClanahan on his regulars rest. Yeah. I mean, Fangraphs kind of put a guy starting tomorrow, but it could be Robbie Ray on normal rest tomorrow.
Okay, so Shane McClanahan is definitely going for the Rays, though, right?
Yes.
Okay, Game 2, Jesse Schultens. Game 3, Steven Matz. Like anybody. Like who they? Who they? It doesn't matter.
They're probably left-handed, and they're probably going to one hit the Giants. That's who they are.
Because that's how the Rays do it. Anyway, the Giants will be coming off of a doubleheader, with the nightcap being delayed by rain. Meanwhile, the Rays last played on Wednesday.
Of course they did.
Yeah. If they watch baseball, they were watching the Giants play their doubleheader at home in their comfy living rooms. But I doubt they were watching. They were probably playing video games.
Probably.
Isn't it time for the booze, boys?
Yeah, Bob, hit me.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Thank you for asking, Bob. That's very kind of you. Bob, today I'm drinking a cocktail that I'm calling the Parking Consulate. And what is in a Parking Consulate? Well, it has 1 ounce cognac. Very superior old pale. Doesn't need to be XO. You don't have to go that crazy. It has 1 ounce of aged rum. 12 years preferably, or older. It then has 1 ounce of lime juice and 1 ounce of simple syrup, or whatever ratio you prefer. Put all of those into a container with no ice and stir to combine. Then fill a highball with ice, squeeze a lime wedge over it, just for kicks, and drop the lime wedge into the glass. Then pour in your mixture and top with 2 to 4 ounces of club soda. And that is how you make the Parking Consulate. And that's what I'm drinking today, Bob.
That's a tasty cocktail.
It was really good, Bob. Yes, I took 2 really good spirits and I watered them down with sugar and water. And I don't care.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Before I tell you, Bob, I'm shocked that Ben stirred a cocktail with syrup and lime juice instead of shaking it. But okay, That's well, you do you, Ben.
Well, you don't need to shake it. You shake it to dilute it with the ice, but there's no ice, Matthew. That's where the bubble, that's what the club soda does. Do you not understand cocktails at all?
I understand, but when you have citrus and a sugar, you're supposed to shake it to like bring them together.
I mean, you can shake them if you want. This is
All
going to aerate them.
All right.
Like, I mean, you can shake them. You can shake them, but don't put ice in them when you shake them. This is not that kind of shake. You just gotta combine them. But don't do that with the ice, because the club soda is there to dilute.
Got it. All right. Well, Bob, I am drinking a Basil Gimlet, and it's a little bit of a riff on that because I got a little secret ingredient. First, you're going to put 2 ounces of gin, not the London Dry, although I'm sure that would work, but I prefer the floral kind of gin. 3/4 ounces of lime juice. Here's the secret ingredient: 1/4 ounce of green chartreuse or Luxardo del Santo. If you don't have the green chartreuse, it works just as fine. I've tried it in both. And then 1/2 ounce of simple syrup and 3 to 5 basil leaves. I'd go 5 basil leaves. You're going to gently muddle the basil and syrup in the bottom of a mixing or a shaker before adding the remaining ingredients and ice. And you're going to give it a good shake until it's well chilled. And then double strain that into a chilled coupe glass and garnish with a basil leaf. And you have a very herbal gin sour called the Gimlet, and I really, really like it. So that's what I'm drinking, Bob, a Basil Gimlet.
That's a tasty cocktail.
Yes, it is, and very spring forward as well. And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Monday with more Giants content. Hopefully, we'll have won at least one of those games. If you can't wait that long to get your fix, feel free to reach out to us on the socials where you can find us under the username Giant Cocktails. You can also find us on YouTube. So don't forget to run over there to like, subscribe, and comment. But most importantly, be sure to what, Bob?
Leave a 5-star review, people.
That's right. Leave a 5-star review because why, Bob?
It's not positive if it's not 5-star positive.
Exactly. Ben, it was great talking Giants with you. Until next time, cheers, my friend.
Yeah, whatever. Cheers, Matthew. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Giant Cocktails Podcast. The next round's on me.
You didn't say goodbye.
Goodbye! I totally didn't. I just was like
something. You just took what I said and then you just played the music.
I did.
I said whatever, and you just played the music.
You threw me off, and then I was like, all right, I guess I got to play the music. All right, well.
Okay.
Our poor listeners will be like, wait, it ended wrong.
Not unless they listen to this part of the show, and then they'll know that we just effed it up because we're so drunk and unhappy.
When the Giants had got swept, Ben, I'm drinking. I'm just drinking a lot.
We're drinking some bougie cocktails today. Like, what did you say? You were like, if you don't have green chartreuse, use this other thing that nobody's ever heard of. What?
But it's a cheap, accessible substitute for green chartreuse. You can
What's
get it
it
at
called?
Total Booze and More. It's called Luxardo del Santo.
Luxardo del Santo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how much does Luxardo del Santo?
It's like $35-$40, something in there.
Very accessible. I mean, it's affordable. I wouldn't call it accessible.
It's at
I
Total
see.
Booze and More. You could go over and get it.
Okay, it's green colored. Probably tastes nothing like chartreuse.
It actually tastes quite a bit like chartreuse.
All
It's
right,
just not as
fine.
hot.
Is that what they're trying to do? Are they trying to fill the gap? Did this always exist?
I don't know. That's a good question. But it does do a pretty good impersonation.
All right. Well, then fine. Meanwhile, I'm over here with my cognac and my 12-year-old rum.
Yeah, you bougie son of a bitch.
Which I just abused with sugar and bubbled tap water that I put bubbles into with my soda stream. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Subscribe now while you're still drunk.